The human who fell from the sky. Jace Carter opened his eyes slowly. Smoke filled the small escape pod. Sparks danced across broken wires. His head hurt, and his arms were shaking. Everything was spinning. The last thing he remembered was the warning, light on the ship. And then, darkness. He looked out the cracked window. Green. Nothing but green. Giant trees, glowing vines, and strange birds with silver feathers flying in the sky. It wasn't Earth. It wasn't even the station he had worked on. Jace had crashed on an alien planet. He unbuckled his seatbelt and pushed open the hatch. Warm, heavy air hit his face. The smell was strange, sweet and earthy, like flowers mixed with wet soil. His legs were weak, but he forced himself out. The pod was resting in a muddy clearing surrounded by huge trees. Each tree was as thick as a building. Some had glowing blue leaves. Others had fruit that moved, as if breathing. Jace limped toward the forest, holding his side. He was hurt, but alive. In the trees, something watched. Eyes blinked in the dark branches. Tall, silent shapes moved from tree to tree without a sound. Their skin shimmered like moonlight, and their hair flowed like water. Alien women. They had seen him fall. They had never seen a man before, not in years. One of them whispered, "He came from the sky, just like the old stories." Jace found water near a stone ridge and drank. He washed his face and looked into the pool. Cuts on his forehead, dirt across his cheeks, a tear in his suit. "This isn't a dream," he whispered. "I really fell." Night came quickly. The trees glowed faintly. Bugs buzzed. Strange animal cries echoed in the jungle. Jace built a small fire using dry branches and his suit's emergency lighter. He sat close to it, rubbing his hands. He had no food, no signal, no idea where he was, but something deep inside him said he was not alone. He turned suddenly, a soft sound. Leaves moved behind him. "Hello?" he called out. "Is someone there?" No answer. Just silence. He stood up and picked up a thick branch like a weapon. The fire cracked louder now. Shadows danced around him. Then he saw it. Footprints. Small, bare feet. Not human, but close. He followed them. The watchers in the trees followed him too. They had never seen skin like his. So pale, so soft. They remembered the men of old. Strong, wild, and dangerous. But this one looked weak. Thin. Hurt. Was he truly the one their ancestors spoke of? Jace reached a strange tree. It was hollow at the base like a doorway. Inside, something was carved into the wall. Marks, symbols, drawings. He couldn't understand them, but they looked like stories. Tall women standing around a smaller man. Some held hands, some pointed to stars. Then something glinted on the floor. He picked it up, a necklace, bones, and teeth. But one of the teeth was human. His heart beat faster. "Someone was here before me?" He heard a voice behind him, a whisper in a strange tongue. He turned quickly. Nothing. In the shadows, the alien women moved closer. One of them, younger than the rest, stared at Jace with wide, curious eyes. Her name was Talissa. "He's not like the old ones," she said softly to her sisters. "He's scared. He's kind." But the older ones frowned. "Kind or not," one said, "he is still a man." Back at his fire, Jace sat again. He was tired, cold, hungry. He looked up at the stars. "I need help," he said. "Anyone. Anything." Then he heard it again. Soft footsteps. He stood, holding the branch tightly. The shadows around the fire were growing. He felt many eyes on him. Then a voice. Clear. Calm. Female. "You are from the sky?" Jace turned. A tall alien woman stepped into the firelight. Her eyes were bright silver. Her skin glowed like pearl. She wore clothes made of leaves and bone. She looked at him without fear. Behind her, more women appeared. Jace didn't move. He didn't speak. He could only whisper one word. "Hello." And they all stepped forward. Eyes in the forest. Jace didn't sleep that night. The alien women had appeared, then disappeared into the trees like ghosts. Only one had spoken to him. One word. One question. "You from the sky?" Now the fire was nothing but soft ash. The jungle around him hummed. He sat with his back against a tree, gripping the wooden branch like a sword. He felt watched. Every time he looked up, shadows moved. Leaves twitched without wind. And once, he could swear, a breath touched his neck even though no one was there. He wasn't alone, and whoever they weren't sure if he was friend or food. Somewhere above, hidden in the thick branches, Talisa crouched, eyes fixed on the human. He was different from the ancient stories. Those tales spoke of men as beasts, rude, loud, hungry for power, but this one looked lost, gentle, careful. He had not chased them. He had not tried to harm them. Still, the tribe would test him. Talisa whispered into a thin wooden horn, and the jungle began to move. Jace stood up. Something wasn't right. He could hear soft footsteps circling him. Dozens. Sometimes 2 legs, sometimes 4, sometimes something else. He grabbed a nearby vine and began to climb a small tree to get higher ground. Suddenly, snap. The branch under his foot gave way. He fell hard, rolled, landed in soft mud. His head spun, but before he could stand, nets dropped from the trees. Made of glowing vines and bone hooks, they wrapped around his arms and legs. Something bit into his side. A dart. Poison. He fought. He shouted. But his vision blurred. Above him, silver eyes stared down. And then, darkness. He woke to voices. Soft. Strange. Musical. His wrists were tied with silk-like rope. He lay in a circle of stone pillars, warm firelight glowing from torches. Around him stood the alien women, not just 5 or 10, dozens. Maybe more, all of them tall. Beautiful in a wild, dangerous way, hair like rivers, skin in shades of silver, gold, green. Eyes glowing like stars. They whispered in their own language, pointing at his face, his hands, his clothes. One stepped forward. It was Talisa. She looked at him carefully, then said in broken English, "You, man, from stars. Why here?" Jace's voice was dry. "Crash, accident." She tilted her head. "Crash? My ship. It broke. I fell." The women behind her gasped and murmured. Talisa turned to them and spoke fast. Their eyes changed, some curious, some afraid, some angry. Jace swallowed hard. "Where am I?" Talisa paused, then said, "You, in Nikala lands, our home." Another woman stepped forward, taller, older, covered in feathers and markings. "The elder," she spoke with command in her voice. Talisa translated, "Elder says, long time ago men came, hurt us, took, burned, then gone." Jay shook his head. "I'm not like that." The elder's eyes narrowed. She said something sharp. Talisa looked unsure, then said, "Elder says, if true, you pass test." Jace frowned. "Test?" But they didn't answer. Instead, the women began to form a wide circle. Jace was pulled up, his arms freed. The ropes fell to the ground. Lissa touched his hand. "Run," she whispered. "Run fast." "What?" "Run. Now." Jace turned. A loud howl rose from the forest. Something was coming. He didn't wait. He ran. Branches slapped. His face. Thorns tore his suit. The jungle was alive with strange sounds. Behind him, trees fell. Something big chased him. Something fast. He looked back and saw it. A creature with 6 legs, sharp teeth, and glowing red eyes. A jungle hound, grown from ancient alien science. The tribe had released it. This was the test. Jace dived into a cave, rolled behind a stone, and held his breath. The beast sniffed, growled, stepped closer. Then something flashed, a spear from the trees. It struck the beast in the eye. Screeching, the monster turned and fled into the dark. Talissa dropped beside him, breathless. You ran well, you didn't scream, you didn't freeze. Jace looked at her. Was that a part of the test? She nodded. First part. First? She smiled. Then the elder's voice echoed from above. He has passed. Bring him. The women stepped from the trees, faces unreadable. Some clapped. Some stayed silent. Talissa helped him stand. You live now. For now, she said. But next comes touch. Jace frowned. Touch? She only whispered. Tomorrow. Rest now. You'll need strength. As they walked him back to the glowing village, Jace looked around. He had survived, but the game was just beginning. Captured by the forgotten tribe, Jace sat in the center of a strange stone hut. The walls were made from thick tree bark and glowing moss. The floor was soft with dried leaves. High above, a hole in the roof let moonlight pour down onto his skin. But he didn't feel at peace. He felt like a prized animal in a golden cage. Outside, the alien village whispered. Women gathered in groups, watching him from behind curtains, from high tree bridges, from windows carved into trunks. None came close, none except one, Talissa. She brought him food, a small glowing fruit, soft bread made of moss, and water in a bowl made from a skull. Jace stared at the skull. Is this human? She laughed. No, jungle bird. Big one. Screams a lot. He smiled weakly. Good. I've had enough surprises already. Talissa tilted her head. You still scared? Jace nodded. I don't know if I'm your guest, my choice, or your prisoner. She looked away. Maybe both. Later that evening, a horn echoed through the village. Talissa stood quickly. They call you. Time for next test. Jace stood. What test? She didn't answer. Just opened the door. Outside, the whole tribe had gathered around a glowing stone circle. Torches burned high. Drums beat softly. The elder stood at the center, dressed in feathers and painted with black ash. Talissa led Jace to her and stepped back. The elder raised her hand. The drums stopped. She spoke. Her voice was deep, ancient, full of weight. Talissa translated. To live among us, to walk our land, you must pass the trial of touch. Jace blinked. Touch? Talissa pointed to the circle. You will stand inside. 5 women will step forward. You will be blindfolded. You must find truth. You must touch the one who does not fear you. If I choose wrong? The elder stepped forward. Talissa whispered. Then we believe you are a threat. You will be cast out, or worse. Jace took a deep breath. He nodded. The blindfold was soft but tight. He could hear whispers, soft footsteps. The drums started again, slow, deep beats that matched the pounding of his heart. A hand took his and led him to the center of the circle. Then, silence. The first woman stepped close. Jace reached out. Her skin was cold, stiff. Her fingers pulled away quickly like he was poison. He shook his head. The second came, warmer, but her hand trembled. She barely let him touch her before turning. Third, her grip was strong, almost too strong. Not fear, anger. Fourth, soft hands. But she flinched when he touched her face. He felt her step back quickly. Then the fifth. She didn't move when he touched her. Her hand was warm, steady, her breath calm. Jace held her hand, slowly touched her cheek. She didn't pull away. He felt something, a calm, a connection. He whispered, "It's you." The drums stopped. He pulled off the blindfold. It was Talissa. The crowd gasped. The elder looked surprised. Then, pleased, she raised her staff. Talissa translated with a trembling voice. You have passed. You found trust. You may stay. Relief hit Jace like rain. But just then a loud shout came from the edge of the crowd. A tall woman with sharp teeth and glowing red eyes stepped forward. Her name was Shakora, the tribe's strongest warrior, and the one who hated Jace the most. He cheated, she roared. He knew it was her. Talissa stepped forward. He didn't, I said nothing. Shakora's voice shook the air. You protect him because you want him. Gasps filled the air. Jace frowned. What does she mean? Talissa didn't answer. Her face turned red. The elder raised her hand. Enough. But Shakora wasn't done. She pointed at Jace. Let him fight. If he wins, he stays. If not, the jungle takes him. Jace stepped back. I'm not a fighter. The elder looked at him with tired eyes. You must prove strength, or we cannot protect you. Later that night, Jace sat alone in a small hut near the fighting ground. His heart beat fast. He had passed one test, but now he had to face Shakora, a woman twice his size, trained in battle since birth. Talissa entered, quietly. She held something in her hands, a small blade made from crystal and bone. She sat beside him. You don't have to kill her. Just survive. Jace looked at her. Why are you helping me? She didn't speak. Instead, she took his hand and placed it on her chest. He felt her heartbeat, strong, steady, fast. She whispered, Because I don't want you to leave. Then she stood and walked away. Jace closed his eyes. He was a stranger on a world ruled by women. He didn't ask to be here, but now, someone believed in him. Maybe that was enough. He gripped the bone blade. Tomorrow, he would fight, not just for survival, but for a place in this strange new world. The trial of touchdawn broke slow and red. The sky above the alien village turned gold as light passed through mist and hanging vines. But the peace in the air was broken by drums, slow, loud, heavy. They echoed through the trees like a warning. Jace Carter stood shirtless inside the stone arena. The ground was soft and cracked from old fights. Bones were buried in the dirt, some large, some clearly human. He tightened his grip on the bone dagger Talissa had given him. Across from him, Shakora entered the arena. Taller, stronger, covered in scars and battle paint. Her eyes glowed red. She held two curved blades and wore armor made of thick leather and beast fur. The crowd of alien women surrounded them. No one cheered. No one blinked. This wasn't a game. It was survival. Talissa stood near the edge of the circle. She didn't move. Her hands were clenched, her face pale. The elder raised her hand. In this battle, Talissa translated softly, there is no killing unless one asks for death. Fight until one falls. Shakora smiled darkly. He will fall. The elder gave the signal. The trial began. Shakora charged first. Jace jumped back, barely avoiding a blade. He rolled on the ground and came up fast. She laughed. You run like prey. He didn't answer. He focused. He circled her. Shakora swung again, low and fast. Jace blocked it with his dagger, but the force knocked him back. His wrist burned. He tried to stab, but she dodged easily and kicked him in the chest. He flew back, hitting the arena wall. Blood dripped from his mouth, but he stood again. Lissa's heart pounded. She whispered, Don't give up. Jace wiped his mouth and stared at his opponent. You fight like a storm, he said. Shakora grinned. Then drown in it. She rushed again, but this time Jace didn't move. He waited. Then, at the last second, he dropped low. Shakora stumbled past him. He grabbed her arm and slammed her into the ground. The crowd gasped. Jace took her blade and tossed it out of the arena. She roared and stood, now furious. You will die for that, she spat. She attacked wildly. Her remaining blade moved like lightning. Jace dodged the first strike, blocked the second. The third cut into his side. He shouted in pain, but even as blood poured down, he didn't fall. He kept standing. He stepped closer, and in one surprising move, he dropped the dagger. Shakora froze. "What are you doing?" Jace raised his hands. "I don't want to kill you." She looked confused. "I'm not your enemy," Jace said. "I came from the sky, yes. But I'm not like the ones from the past. I came here by accident. But now I fight for something real, for trust, for peace." He looked toward Talissa. For her, the crowd was silent. Even the jungle birds had stopped. Shakora stared at him for a long time. Then, she dropped her blade too. She raised her arm to the sky. "I surrender." Gasps filled the air. The elder stood. Her voice rang out strong. Talissa translated, crying softly. "The trial is over. The man did not fight for power. He fought for heart." Shakora stepped forward. She looked Jace in the eyes. "You are not weak," she said. "You are wise." She pressed her fist to her chest and bowed her head, a warrior's respect. Later that night, the village danced. Soft music played from bone flutes. Fires burned bright. The stars above the jungle were clearer than ever. Alien women smiled at Jace. Now, some offered food. Others gave him symbols of respect. Feathers, shells, carved stones. But Jace only looked for one person. He found Talissa near the glowing pond, her feet in the water, watching the moon. He sat beside her. "I didn't think I'd survive today," he said. "You did more than survive," she whispered. "You changed everything." He turned to her. "Will they really let me stay now?" She smiled. "The elder has already spoken. You're not a prisoner anymore. You are guest of the tribe." He looked up at the stars, from a broken ship to a warrior's honor. He never expected this. But before he could speak again, Talissa gently took his hand. "You're not alone anymore." Jace squeezed her hand. For the first time since crashing on this strange world, he believed it. The forbidden mate rain fell gently over the alien jungle, but in the village of Nakala, under the shelter of high trees and glowing vines, Jace and Talissa sat close beside the pond. Neither spoke for a while. Their hands stayed joined, quiet and warm in the dark. Jace looked at her, voice soft. "You saved me, again." Talissa smiled without looking up. "You saved yourself. I only showed you where to walk." He wanted to say more, how he felt safe when she was near, how her presence brought calm in this wild, unknown world. But before words could come, a sudden horn echoed from the far edge of the village. Talissa stood quickly. "That's the gate signal. Someone's here." The village gathered fast. From the dark trees, a group of travelers appeared, scouts from another tribe. They wore dark cloaks, their faces hidden. One stepped forward. She pulled back her hood to reveal a silver crown of bones. Her name was Virata, High Scout of the Wyrn Sisterhood. She spoke with a sharp voice. "We heard rumors. A man walks among you, a human." The elder stepped forward. "He has passed all trials. He is accepted." Virata narrowed her eyes. "You accept him. But do you understand the danger?" Jace felt every eye turn toward him. "He may be one," Virata said, "but others will come. Your choice brings eyes from the sky." Then her voice grew cold. "And one more thing. It is forbidden for a man to bond with a daughter of the old blood." Talissa froze. Everyone stared at her. She stepped back, slowly, as if struck. Jace whispered, "What's wrong?" Talissa didn't answer. The elder stepped forward. "Enough. You come into our home with words like poison. Leave now." Virata bowed mockingly. "You protect him now, but when the sky burns again, will you still choose him over your own?" Then the scouts turned and vanished into the trees. That night the village was quiet. Jace found Talissa sitting alone in the roots of the moon tree, where water fell like silver rain. "You didn't tell me," he said gently. She looked down. "It's true, I carry the old blood. My mother was the last royal. The law says I can never take a mate outside our kind. He stepped closer. But why? You said the old kings are gone. They are. But the law remains. If I stay with you, I lose everything. My name, my right to speak in council. I would be cast out. Jace's jaw tightened. Because I'm not one of you? Talissa nodded slowly. He sat beside her. I didn't ask to fall from the sky. I didn't ask to land in your world, but now I'm here, and I'd choose you even if it meant losing everything. Her eyes filled with tears. I don't know if I'm that brave. He took her hand. Then let me be brave enough for both of us. They didn't kiss. They didn't need to. In the stillness, under a glowing tree, two different hearts beat, the same rhythm. But high above, in the treetops, a jealous pair of eyes watched. Shakora. She turned and vanished into the dark. The next day the council met. The elder spoke slowly. The man has passed the trials, he walks among us, but now a deeper question rises. She looked at Talissa. Do you claim him? The crowd waited. Silent, breathless. Talissa stepped forward. Her voice was clear, but her hands trembled. Yes, gasps, whispers. The elder's eyes closed. Then you must leave. Jace stepped forward. We don't need anything. Just each other. But before the elder could speak again, a scout ran into the circle, bleeding and breathless. Enemies. Weird scout, they come armed. The council turned. The elder's face changed from calm to steel. All guards to the edge. Protect the sacred pool. But Jace's eyes went to Talissa. This is because of me, isn't it? She didn't answer. Because they both knew. It was. That night, Jace stood by the village gate. The sky above burned orange. Torches, shadows, armored figures moving in the jungle. A voice called from the trees. Verita, send out the human, or we take him by force. Jace took a step forward, but Talissa stopped him. No. This time, I fight for you. She held out a spear. We fight together. He looked into her glowing eyes, then took the weapon. Maybe he had fallen from the sky by accident. But what was happening now? That was choice. One man versus the tribe. The drums beat like war thunder. The jungle beyond the village glowed red with torchlight. Smoke curled through the trees. Shouts echoed. And deep in the sky, strange lights blinked. Warning beacons from other lands. The Wern sisterhood had come to take Jace. He stood just inside the gates, holding the spear Talissa had given him. Its blade shimmered, sharp and ancient, carved from beast bone and crystal. His hands shook, but not from fear, from purpose. Talissa stood beside him, armor wrapped tight around her chest, eyes burning like silver fire. You can still run, she whispered. He shook his head. Not this time, she smiled. Then we fight together. The elder gave the order. Defend the circle. No matter the cost. The alien women formed a shield wall, vines wrapped around their arms, spears raised. The jungle hissed. Suddenly, the first arrow flew, burning blue as it flew through the air. It struck a tree, bursting into flame. The Wyrn warriors charged from the darkness, fast, silent, deadly. Jace moved quickly. He fought with instinct, dodging low, stabbing forward, blocking blades with his spear. One warrior came at him with twin daggers. He spun and struck her hard in the side. She dropped. But another came from behind. Jace turned too slow. Her blade sliced his shoulder. He cried out. Blood spilled. Talissa saw it and screamed. She rushed. In slashing with wild precision, her blade met the enemy's and sparks flew. Jace stood again. I'm okay. No, she snapped. You're bleeding. He wiped his arm. Still standing, she smirked. That's my human. Deeper in the battle, chaos exploded. Alien women screamed. Arrows fell like rain. Fires spread across the wooden bridges between the trees. Then it happened. Shakora, once Jace's enemy, now watching from the shadows, leapt into battle. Not for glory, for revenge. She stormed toward Jace, face wild, blade raised. Talissa stepped in front. Don't! Shakora stopped. I did not come for him, she growled. Then why? I came to protect the tribe. She turned and hurled her blade, not at Jace, but at a Wern scout sneaking toward the elder. The blade struck true. The traitor dropped. Shakora looked at Jace. You may be soft, human, but your heart is fire. She nodded once, then vanished into the battle. Suddenly, a massive blast shook the ground. Everyone stumbled. From the treetops, a strange craft appeared, dark metal, smooth and humming. A Wern sky drone. It opened its belly. A beam of light shot down and hit the center of the village, right where the sacred pool lay. The water boiled, the ground cracked, and the elder standing beside it collapsed. Talissa screamed. No! Jace ran with her, dodging debris. They reached the elder's body. Smoke curled from her back. She was alive, but barely. Talissa cradled her head. The elder opened her eyes, weak. The pool must be saved. Jace looked toward the glowing water, now turning red. If the pool was destroyed, the heart of the tribe would die. The prophecy, the bloodline, everything. He stood. I'll do it. Talissa grabbed his arm. It's too hot. You'll burn. I've already fallen from the sky. This won't be worse. He ran. The heat was blinding. The ground under the pool shook as more beams fell from above. Water hissed and cracked. Jace leapt forward, blocking one beam with a broken shield. He reached the center. There, an ancient stone disc. He remembered the drawings he'd seen in the hollow tree. The man holding the disc above his head. A symbol of peace, of unity. He grabbed it. It was burning. He lifted it anyway. Flames bit into his arms. Pain seared his chest. But he held it high. And then, the lights in the sky stopped. The Wern drone paused, blinked, then retreated. The scouts froze. One shouted, "He has completed the circle." Another dropped her weapon. The Wern fell back, one by one, until silence returned. Jace dropped to his knees. Talissa rushed to him. His hands were blistered, his breath short. But he smiled. "You still think I should have run?" She laughed through her tears. "No, you're more warrior than any of us." She held him tightly as the tribe surrounded them. The elder raised her hand from the ground, weak but proud. "He is one of us, not by blood, but by spirit." The alien women bowed, their heads. Jace, once a stranger from the stars, now stood as their defender, their chosen, their mate. The first man among many. The jungle slept. Smoke still curled above the village. Broken weapons and burnt branches lay scattered across the ground. The sacred pool shimmered faintly, healing under the soft blue light of the twin moons. But in the heart of the village, Jace Carter did not sleep. He sat alone at the base of the moon tree, bandaged, bruised, and quiet. His hands were wrapped tight. His body ached, but his heart full. He remembered everything. The crash, the shadows watching him in the forest, the nets, the tests, the fear, and then Talissa, her kindness, her strength, her choice. She didn't just teach him the language of her people. She taught him to belong. A voice pulled him from his thoughts. "You look like a ghost," Talissa said softly. He smiled without turning. "Maybe I am." She sat beside him, resting her head on his shoulder. "Ghosts don't bleed like you." He laughed gently. "Fair." They watched the stars together. For a long time, neither spoke. Then Talissa broke the silence. "The council. We'll meet at first light. They will ask you a question." Jace nodded. "They want me to lead. They believe you were sent by the stars." A sign of change. He sighed. But I wasn't sent. I fell. She looked at him. And still. You rose. Morning came slowly. The tribe gathered in a wide circle beneath the oldest tree. The elder stood once again, now held up by two sisters. Jace and Talissa entered side by side. The crowd went quiet. The elder spoke in a clear voice. The man from the sky has done what none have done before. He passed the trials, he saved the pool, he protected the tribe. She turned to him. You may go back to your world, or you may take a place beside us. Jace looked around. Every face watched him, some with hope, some with fear, many with awe. He turned to Talissa. Her eyes trembled, but she said nothing. Jace took a long breath. I came here by accident, alone, afraid. But here I found something stronger than fear. I found family. He stepped forward and knelt. If you'll have me, I will stay. A cry rose from the crowd. Cheers, laughter, music. But above all, there was relief. The elder raised her arms. Then let it be known, he is no longer outsider. He is first mate of Nakala. That night, the village glowed brighter than ever. Fire dancers moved between the trees. Songs were sung in both Old Tongue and Broken Earth English. Alien children placed flower crowns on Jace's head. Warriors shared stories of battle with him. Even Shakora, scar on her cheek, gave a rare smile. But Jace looked for only one person. Talissa stood at the edge of the pool, where moonlight touched the water. He approached her slowly. She didn't look at him. You really chose to stay? I did. Even when you could have gone home? He smiled. I think I already am home. She finally turned. You're not like the stories. He stepped closer. Maybe we'll write a new one. Their hands met. And there, with stars above and water beneath, they kissed for the first time. Months passed. The village changed. The women no longer feared the stars. They built stronger walls, bridges between the trees, and new symbols of unity, not isolation. And sometimes, other tribes came. Curious. Some even brought news. A second human pod was found, deep in the east. There were more. Not many. But Jace was no longer the only man. Still, the people said, he was the first. The one who did not conquer but healed. The one who faced blades and beasts, and chose to protect. The one who fell from the sky, and rose as legend. The end.